Certainly, I mean, it's paramount to our business. People will phrase it as the American dream, if you will, for home ownership. And it's still just one of the most pillars of our economic structure, certainly, for people who can actually have the opportunity to own their own property. Well, that's exciting for them, and it's exciting for us when we're involved in a transaction for a first-time home buyer. They get very emotional about it, as most people do, but especially a first-time home buyer, it's something very special. The first thing that they have to realize is they're establishing their home. It's not just a house, or it's not just a structure. They're actually establishing their home, raising their families, and as that catches on throughout a neighborhood, it's just the fabric of the neighborhood. It's what holds it together. Well, it'll have a very negative impact. It doesn't sound like much, maybe 1 or 2%, but a transfer tax, which I've heard about for 35 years, has been introduced several times. A first-time homebuyer especially spends every nickel they have, and usually somebody else's nickel too, parents, to get into that property. Transfer tax is going to be one more expense that they still may be able to do it, but it's not going to be fun. And it's just one more thing that they have to pay for. I think it's possible, but I think it's an accumulative effect. There's a transfer tax. For the buyer, there's all of their loan fees. For the seller, who's going to participate in this tax as well, it's one additional fee for them. These fees all add up, and pretty soon it could be something that would curtail someone from buying a home. I think that's a fair assessment. No one likes the word tax. It's one of the few 3-letter words. It's actually a 4-letter word. But certainly in the real estate business, where there's always additional fees, the transfer tax, I think, is looked at as a double taxation, and for a select group of people. It's mostly about the education. They have to understand what the tax is, how it will affect them, and how it can negatively affect them and the market in general. I don't think the transfer tax is a good idea in any economic climate, but especially in the current economic climate, I think it could be very fatal. I think that as a practitioner, all my fellow practitioners need to be able to get this message out to their clients and their customers that this transfer tax, that this measure especially could stop this transfer tax and any future one that might be proposed.